Hello possums, and welcome back to another speed build for The Sims 4. So for this one I actually went through a lot of places, a lot of worlds, sorry, trying to figure out where I wanted to place this house. I'd never looked at Chestnut Ridge, so I thought I'd check that out, but it just ended up going to Newcrest anyway, on the 30 by 30 lot. So with the beginning of this, I struggled on how I wanted to do it until I realised I had to do the house first and then do the veranda. Verandas are very big in Australia. It's this is like another Queenslander, but instead of having the veranda all the way around, it's most of the way around. And when I start on the floor plan, the master bedroom and ensuite really just did my head in. I didn't understand what I was doing wrong, and eventually the master bedroom and ensuite just end up taking up the entire right hand side of the house, front of the house I should say. So this ended up being a 3-bedroom 2-bathroom house, but it can sleep up to 5 Sims. So there's 2 bedrooms in one of the kids' room. I decided the teen could have their own room. And of course, if there's 2 parents or 2 guardians, they can share a room. So I've been putting laundry in for these, and I've never actually played with laundry before. I've heard that it's a bit of a headache to play with it, especially since the Sims refuse to, use the hampers and whatnot, and the dirty clothing just basically piles up. So if that is the case, then I apologise for constantly putting laundry into these, but I am going off of a floor plan and ideas of my own, and I kind of want to make it semi-realistic, sort of. Maybe not even semi-realistic. Again, the windows were an issue for me because of Australian windows being different to what's on display here, or at least the windows that I'm used to. So I thought, well, the front can have the fancy bay windows, and then everywhere else could just have really simple windows. That way, it made the most sense in my head that the front looked the nicest. Now, the roof, I don't know what the heck I was thinking with the roof. I put down pieces, I end up deleting pieces, and then for some reason I end up doing them in the wrong direction. I think at the time of creating this, I had no caffeine in my system, so my brain just was not functioning at all. So, Australian houses don't have much of a foundation. They have the laying foundation, which is what's poured down before the house is actually built. Very few houses are actually on really big foundations. We have a very tiny foundation down here. Or I should say we have a very tiny foundation in southern Western Australia. Although a friend of mine lives in northern Western Australia, and their house has a very small foundation as well. I think it's because we have a lot of issues with termites, and a lot of the foundations that we do get, they're either brick, which the mortar will degrade over time if it's not maintained perfectly. But yeah, we do have termites over here. I mean, we've got the animals that will eat the termites and whatnot, but I think a lot of places just would rather not run the risk of a house collapsing. Now, I have to admit that the kitchen turned out to be one of my favourite rooms done. I used, I think, almost entirely Jungle Adventure for the kitchen, because I really liked the black with the silver hardware. To me, that was it's a stunning combination. And I don't know anyone that has a massive island like this in their house, but I had the room for it, so I decided to just go for it, and I thought it looked quite nice. For the dining table, I know I wanted a glass top dining table. I don't know why, but I really wanted a glass top dining table. So I ended up having to do two small ones together. The shape of the master really threw me. Here you can see me pulling items out beside the bed because I'm trying to match the wood tones. And unfortunately, we all know that The Sims 4 is notorious for not giving us matching wood tones. So I was trying my best to find something that was similar or within the same vein of the wood tone. I also tried to really go towards using a lot of pine or wood tones that looked like they were pine for this because, I mean, pines are pretty wood, and it was easier to find wood that looked like pine over wood that looked like jarrah or carry. So I tried my hardest to stick more with the pine sort of look. The kid's bedroom. I had a lot of fun with this. One kid, I call them the green kid and the red that then becomes orange kid. I enjoyed thinking about what their personalities were like. Oh, for some reason I think I went AFK here, so it gives me a great time to ask you guys, how are you? Is your year going well? Well, the beginning of it. Has it started off well? I know mine has, so I hope yours has as well. I also came to realise that there wasn't really a lot of red decorations. So the red kid ended up becoming the orange kid because there was more orange objects for that child. Which was upsetting because I remember as a kid my favourite colours were red and pink. And then white. And then pink. And still pink. So I had to change the bedspread to because I could at least pull from the orange of that. As I mean, I could do another blue room, but the teen room was blue as well. So I was like, meh. Let's just make it orange. Make the kids' room fun. And here you can see me trying to find a hardwood floor. The cats and dogs one I thought looked really nice until I got up close and saw the weird lines through it. There is a really nice wood flooring, but I ended up using that for the outside instead of the inside, which was another headache. Now, for the bathrooms, in my last speed build, I had the toilets inside the bathrooms. That was mostly for convenience sake in that speed build, but in Australia, it is super rare to have a bathroom and a toilet in the same room. We typically have the toilets separate from the bathrooms. I don't know why, but that's just the way we do it in Australia. I don't know if we've started going towards having the toilet in the bathroom or if we're still keeping that separate. From what I can tell from the newer builds, it's still a separate thing. Now in here, for some reason, I used the Parenthood sink basin thing and nothing would slot to it. So I just decided, okay, well fine, bugger it. I'll just throw stuff on the walls then. But the ensuite, I used a different sink and stuff slotted to it, so I don't know if that's a bug or a glitch with just the Parenthood one, but at least I know which sink it works for having stuff slotted to it. This rug ended up doing my head in because it didn't look like the tables were centre on it. Now, the study and the living room are the only rooms that I end up putting curtains in. That is unfortunately because I forgot to do it with the other rooms. I don't know how I forgot that, considering the windows are mostly front and centre for most of the rooms. But I just forgot to put in curtains. Here I started going through the clutter objects because it's not really something that I do. Cluttering up a house is really the last thing on my mind, mostly because I leave it up to whoever downloads and plays the game to throw in the personal touches of clutter for themselves, because everybody enjoys different sorts of clutter. Some people enjoy extremely cluttered houses, others have a more minimalistic approach. I tend to have a more minimalistic approach when it comes to the clutter. I'll have a whole heap of wall decorations, but for like little bits like the shoes and stuff like that, I tend to just not worry about that. Now I'm trying to find a good veranda flooring here, and for the life of me, I couldn't think of what I actually wanted, so I thought, bugger it, I'm just going to go with wood. And then trying to find a decent wood one. I really like this that flooring because you could see the grain, the wood grain. So once again, you saw me pulling out the furniture beside the bed. The season's furniture, at least the front of the dresser, matched the frame of the bed, and I decided that was good enough. When it came to the rooms, the children's rooms, I decided that the teen was like a movie buff, so I tried to pull out posters that were related to movies. I decided the green child was big on animals, so they had the dinosaurs, and I don't know, maybe they dream of becoming a veterinarian. The orange child, I can't quite remember what I did for them. Now we're onto the landscaping here, and again, I had a real difficult time. with this. So I decided to just use trees, different trees, and pretend that they were native trees in Australia. The European and the American birch basically became standard eucalyptus. The quaking aspen, I took one. I had two of them, and I sized one up so that they could be what we call widowmakers. Basically, the white-barked gum trees that are known to drop branches for no reason. And then I had the white birch tree from Cats and Dogs because I love white birch. Now, I'm trying to find a foundation to match the wood floor that I used. I went through all of them. I could not find one, so I just decided, fine, it can just stay white wood then. I think that's something that the Sims team has really got to look into. Now, landscaping in The Sims is one of my favourite things, aside from the fact that I have to use completely different plants and pretend that they are Australian plants. I hope that at some stage, if we do get an Australian-inspired expansion pack or stuff pack, it'll have a lot of landscaping options in there. Bougainvillea is quite prevalent in Australia. I know my family home, it took us years to get rid of it that was coming in from the house behind us. So I thought, fine, that was good enough. It's something I grew up with. For the flowers outside, I went with blue, yellow, and white, mostly because those are the colours for the football team one of the football teams on the West Coast, aptly named the West Coast Eagles. So here I'm trying to find something to go in front of the shrub flowers, basically. But I was looking for something like that. I was originally going to make them yellow, but then I thought, no, I'll go with the white ones, have the white ones up the front. Mostly because they're so tiny and they really remind me of jasmine. And I like the way they hung over the little fence. And of course, being Australian, this wouldn't be an Australian house without some sort of Barbie outside. Australians love their barbecues so much that every house has some sort of barbecue, even if it's just a pit with a slab of cast iron over the top of it that you can throw meat onto with a fire roaring underneath. We love our Barbies. Here I decided to give the teen their own little hangout spot if they had a friend come over or friends come over. I thought it'd be nice for them to have their own area away from the family. And because I'd already used stuff from the pack, I decided that there had to be pet balls involved. For this, I was trying to find an object. I'm not sure if it exists in any of the packs that I own or if it was for the high school years packs, but it's like fairy lights with pictures on it. I don't know if that is something that actually exists in The Sims 4 or if I was imagining it, or if I just saw it somewhere else and correlated it with The Sims 4, but I searched for it, couldn't find it, and then just moved on. Very upset that I couldn't find it. Here I'm actually searching for the letterbox that comes on the plot of land, but I could not find it, so I think when I scooted the lot backwards, it actually deleted the letterbox, so I had to put in a new one. For some reason here, despite doing the trim and then playing with these two roof pieces, I did not see that the front roof pieces were misaligned. I do catch that eventually, but I don't know how I missed that as I'm looking back at this. It was just so glaringly obvious that I somehow missed it and I don't understand how. And here I'm throwing in some skill building pieces. So I ended up building this house without move objects on. The only move objects that I used was for the landscaping. I'm really just trying to think of what to write in for this. And as you can see, I am really starting to wrap it up. I think I go back in to fix the roof because I realized that it was just the default texture, and there we go, and it looks much better now. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye!